I'm excited to hear this, Ryan Hollins.
Man, this was all about the Clippers. You got people like Nick Wright. They're talking about, oh, the Clippers, they're not looking good. They're faltering at the wrong moments. They are finally getting consistent minutes, healthy players on roster. Reggie Jackson looked good last night. Marcus Morris looked good. Kawhi Leonard was in rhythm. They showed you why the Clippers are a headache and a well-oiled machine. And I've been in the locker room with Doc Rivers. The one thing that's special about Doc in a situation where you see the Rockets, everybody goes, well, let's go smaller, let's go bigger, let's post up our center 5 times in a row. The one thing Doc says in the locker room in these situations, just play basketball, run our plays, move the basketball, find the open man. And that's what the Clippers did last night. They did not force the ball inside to Ivica Zubac. Ivica Zubac had an excellent game because he played within the system. So I think the Clippers showed by far, why they are favorites to win the NBA championship. And I know it was the Rockets. I know it wasn't Milwaukee. I know it wasn't the Lakers.
I think the Rockets are an excellent team.
You saw their firepower on display last night. The second unit was rolling, and the first unit was rolling, Nick.
Okay, you're overstating how great the Clippers played by a touch. They were excellent defensively in the first half. That's the only part of their game they get an A+ on. It was a very good game by them, and I'll give them credit. I disagree with you on Marcus Morris, but we don't have to get into the weeds on that. I think Marcus Morris played poorly, and I think Marcus Morris is a guy who I don't know why all of a sudden he instantly gets 20 minutes and gets to take a dozen shots a game. I don't understand it, but that's not the story here. There's one story about this game. 2 of 30. I gave him too many. 2 of 30. That's what the Rockets started from three-point range. Can't win a game like that. No one's ever won a game like that. No one ever will win a game like that. That's the story. Points in the paint, Rockets won. Second champ points, fast break points, even. Rebounds, assists, fouls, turnovers, all basically even, within 2 or 3 in every category. The only difference is the Rockets had a historically bad shooting night from 3, 3 of 34 through 3 quarters, and the Clippers shot fine from 3. That's all it is. Go ahead, Jen.
Three-point shooting is the way they win.
Right.
So when you take away the only way they win,
they lose.
What are you left with?
Nothing.
They lose.
They lose.
I'll say this, what I also loved, they stuck to the game plan. So it's not
Who's they here?
The Clippers.
Okay.
It's not a traditional way to usher a guy to the basket and make him score over your length. The Clippers are one of the rare teams that can do that. What do I mean by that? So while James Harden is dancing with the basketball on the perimeter, the Clippers will get up on him, force him to his right hand to go finish to his right. The Golden State Warriors did that with him in the playoff series about, a year or 2 ago? And they ended up being fantastic because it took the 3 ball out and it forced James Harden to have to score the basketball at the rim. Now, the Clippers, why they're special, they have the length to do it. You have Marcus Morris guarding James Harden, and it's not Kawhi Leonard. It's not Paul George. It's not Patrick Beverly. This is another defender with length who can score the basketball that you give an opportunity to get out and defend. So that's what impresses me. Game plan discipline last night, Nick.
Yeah, I got it, but a lot of these are shots they just usually make. I mean, Wild's like, some of these are well defended, and some of these are misses.
Ryan, I'm going to tell you a story. I was working in Bristol, and I was the creative guy in Bristol, so I would get invited to creative meetings. And they said, Wilds, do you want to go to a Google Glass meeting? I was like, oh, Google Glass, yeah. I started watching all the YouTube clips. Like, this looks innovative. This looks like the future. This looks like it defies all conventional wisdom. And then the guys from Google came in wearing these insane-looking glasses. And you know what I said? This is not going to work. Last night, when the Clippers were routing the Rockets, I was like, this is not going to work.
Small ball, you mean?
Small ball, the whole experiment, while looking cool and innovative and analytical, it's just not going to work.
And I understand the analogy, and you might be right. But I also think we're going to look back in 15 years and say, oh, Google Glass was ahead of its time.
That's fair.
That's good. It was.
That they were on to something.
Because at some point, we are going to be watching everything through our eyes. We're already watching through our eyes. You understand what I mean? We are moving towards this, even if they haven't perfectly fine-tuned it. But we can't talk about variance with the Rockets. What does variance mean? It means you add to your upside, you add to your low side. I'll give you an analogy. You know what adds variance? Us adding Kevin Wildes to this television show this week.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
In the short term, has made at times the show way better, and at times the show it's like, what are you doing? So that's adding variance. It's a compliment eventually, I promise. Because, see, they left. Which is anything
You're the
that
Google
is...
Glass in our eyes.
What, is the Google Glass is good?
No, not the Google Glass, but the Rocket...
My Harden?
No,
we can't
go ahead.
say... the Capella trade. We can't say that they've increased their upside and then ignore the fact that in order to do that, they had to lower their downside. And their downside now is there's no easy buckets other than Russ. And Jenna, to your point, if the shots aren't falling, they lose. They lose.
There's no second way to win on this team.
They are betting on the math that that a shooting performance like this will happen once a year. Now, unfortunately for them...
But it doesn't.
No, like this does happen once a year.
This
like
poorly.
this horrific. Now, unfortunately for them, the one time it happened to them in the 2018 season was Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. And now your whole season's over. They hope the one time it happened to them this year was last night and you don't deal with it again. But that is what they've done here. To me, that wasn't the Clippers doing that to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. It was a completely boomer bust play, but the Clippers actually had the personnel and length to not just score on the other end, but the Clippers want to play small. I mean, there's only one center essentially on roster, and that's Ivica Zubac. Montrezl Harrell is more of a hybrid forward who can guard on the perimeter, so they're built to play a team like the Rockets, a team like if the Warriors were still in existence. Now that there's no Warriors, the big worry is the Clippers. So the Rockets are saying if we can eliminate everybody but the Clippers, this is a much better place than we were in before the trade deadline.
So wait, let's just stick with the Clippers for a second, because you said going into this stretch for them that a lot can be determined about the Clippers depending on how they do and come out the other side. They've been playing pretty well.
They haven't
4-0.
lost. They haven't lost. They have the longest winning streak in basketball. They are, I think the stat is now they're 10-0 when they have no player listed on the injury report, including some good wins. And listen, at no point have I said the Clippers are a bad basketball team. I obviously think they're a good basketball team. Do I think they're the championship favorites? Of course not. Do I think they're the best team in Los Angeles? Absolutely not. Do I trust the Rockets' math of we are going to rely on the three more than the Clippers' math of we have a mid-range god? I actually do. Do I think Kawhi Leonard's playoff all-time greatness has been vastly overstated? Yes. Do I think the Clippers are one of the 5 best teams in basketball? Clearly. And when they are fully healthy, they are arguably the 3rd best team in basketball. But every year, Ryan, we talk about injuries playing a factor in the postseason. And you can't predict injuries, but you can use the past to predict future performance. And there is no team in the league that is a bigger injury risk outside of Philadelphia, I suppose, than the Los Angeles Clippers right now. And they look totally different when one ingredient has been removed from this recipe. And I don't know that you can count on this team being a full go through 2 months of playoff basketball.
I do agree with that. We could say the same for the Lakers because they are much further off, I would say, than the Clippers because obviously we see the importance of Patrick Beverley, but they can roll without Paul George. Even Kawhi on certain nights. I wouldn't say deep into the playoffs, we would both agree that's a big knock. What's funny with me, and I got to ask you this, you see this big edge of the Lakers over the Clippers being Anthony Davis, not LeBron James. That's not a cause for concern for you? Or you're hoping with injuries potentially happen?
No, I'm not hoping for injuries.
What's this big edge that you say that the Lakers are better than the Clippers in the postseason, which you would trust?
Well, you've got the greatest postseason performer ever in LeBron James. That's helpful. You have a guy who has never been, aside from the Mavericks series, stopped in a playoff series, and he's only been slowed by teams with a rim protector. What the Clippers
Kawhi Leonard didn't slow him down?
No, he averaged 20. The year Kawhi won Finals MVP, LeBron averaged 28 a game on 57% shooting and 50% from 3. Seems pretty good, but
they didn't slow him down? Okay.
No, he didn't.
So he just got Finals MVP for no reason?
Yeah.
Just for no reason?
He scored 9 points in Game 1, 9 points in Game 2, averaged 14.5 for the series.
So you're not looking at
Finals
the intangibles
MVP.
of the impact.
That's
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
He was
so
so
clearly
great.
it was his
He
defense.
was so great on defense. The guy who was guarding averaged 28 on 57.
So he got it by accident. Okay, on accident.
He got it by default. But we're talking about this the Spurs one, not the Raptors one. But you can't just gloss over Anthony Davis. This is a top 6 player in basketball that they have no answer for. We'll see it on Sunday.
We don't play out the post anymore. You don't win championships in the post or the mid-post.
Since January 1.
It's a spot-up 3. It's not off the bounce. Come on, Nick.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.